Buddy, what are we doing? Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog. This is going to be another weekly vlog for the second week of May since I'm just hanging out in my house. It feels like a good time to be vlogging, even though I didn't read that much last week, but I did get my reading mood back at the end of last week. So I'm really hoping that that's going to continue and I'll be able to capitalize on that this week and do a lot of reading, especially because I would really like to get caught up on the prompts for Galactic-thon. So that is the plan for this week, but I'm not going to make the mistake of going, I'm going to read X, Y, and Z book and then not reading any of them, because I do that like every time that I make a weekly vlog, and I should just not do that because clearly I'm not going to pick up the things that I say I'm going to pick up. So instead, I'm just going to be mood reading this week, picking things up as I'm in the mood for them, and we'll see if that works a little bit better. I'm hoping it will, and I'm just going to be doing that around all of my job hunting. I'm also just signed up for a HTML and CSS fundamentals course. It's a free online course on edX, so I'm going to be trying to do that over the next little while as well. It's like a 6-week course, so I'm going to be working on module 1, and I'm just trying to like improve my skills, give myself some more things that I can put on a resume, especially since a lot of the jobs I'm applying for are like communications and web development, since that's what I have prior experience in. So I'm hoping that I can kind of add to my resume a little bit, add some skills that'll be useful, and fit some of the job applications I've been looking at. So that is kind of the plan for the week. But this morning, Mom and I decided to have like a fun, chill Saturday morning. So we decided to go downtown to our favorite brunch place. So we got brunch, and then we decided to just walk around for a while, went into a bakery and got some really good fresh baked bread, and then we also went into our favorite indie bookstore and I picked up a single book. I'm proud of myself, I kept it to one, but I picked up Indian Burial Ground by Nick Medina, which I have been really interested in since I first heard about this several months ago, and I've looked at this in the bookstore like several times. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and looked at this. I looked at this another time we went somewhere else to take my car for maintenance and went into a bookstore while we were waiting for it to be ready, and I looked at it there, and I keep picking this one up and looking at it and going, oh, this sounds really interesting, and the library either doesn't have it or has like a massively long hold line for it. I can't remember which one it is, but I remember one of those things is true, and I just really want to read it. So I've picked it up a bunch of times, finally decided to go ahead and just buy it, and I'm really excited. I'm hoping I might be able to read this for Summerween, so I think that's happening in July if I'm remembering correctly, so I'm gonna have to wait a little while for that, but it's possible I may just get really excited and pick it up before that. But this just sounded so interesting. It's about a woman who is about to leave the reservation that she's grown up on with her boyfriend, except then he dies suddenly and she's left trying to pick up the pieces and kind of figure out what to do now. And she realizes that a bunch of other people are dying in strange ways on the reservation, and her uncle, who left 10 years ago, is suddenly back, and there's some sort of like sinister thing lurking on the reservation, and she and her uncle are working together to try and figure out what's going on. It sounds like it's gonna be like really spooky and really creepy, but also gonna have some interesting like family dynamics and you know, secrets from the past. So I'm very excited for this. It sounds like just right up my alley, and I couldn't resist. Finally I decided to just go ahead and buy it since I've picked it up and looked at it like so many times. So that was the one book that I bought, and now we've just gotten home and I'm gonna do some cleaning. I need to vacuum my office and my bedroom. I'm getting bug bitten by something, like on my ankles. It's not fleas, I know it's not that. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm gonna try and vacuum my office and just see if that helps, like vacuum all the furniture, all that good stuff. I don't know what's going on. Sorry if that is too much information for you, but like just getting bug bitten all over my ankles, and it's really annoying because it's really itchy. So I'm gonna try vacuuming everything. I'll probably also like wash my sheets and do the kind of typical things you would do for, I guess, bug problems. At least that's my typical things that I do when I'm getting bug bitten. It's like, well, clean all the fabric and all that stuff, and then hopefully things are good. So we're gonna do that, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. I'm probably gonna sit down and read. Fingers crossed that I get all of that done in a reasonable amount of time. Because I think while I get the vacuum out, I'm just gonna go ahead and like vacuum the entire upstairs. And if I get really ambitious, I may also clean my bathroom today. That was on my to-do list for the weekend, but the vacuuming is gonna take precedence just because I wanna deal with any bugs that may be around, if it's bugs, if it's not like an allergic reaction to something, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just trying my best and trying not to freak out, because I don't like getting bitten by anything. I don't like when I'm itchy. We're trying not to panic. So cleaning will help hopefully with the not panicking, and then hopefully the problem will also be solved. So that is the goal for today, and I'm gonna go get started on it so that I actually can have some afternoon time to do some reading. All right, all of the vacuuming is done for the entire upstairs. Got some laundry going, and I also put away all of my clean laundry that's been sitting around in the laundry basket of shame for the last month or so. So all of that's done, feeling really good about it. And now I think my partner and I are gonna play some Fortnite or something. We were gonna play yesterday, but he had a headache, so we're gonna play something this afternoon, just hang out for a little bit, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do this evening. Maybe some reading? I might also play more Baldur's Gate, because I finished the game last week and then immediately created a Dark Urge character because my best friend played, this was her third playthrough when she finished the collab playthrough with me, or the co-op playthrough, and she said that the Dark Urge makes the story make a lot more sense. So I am playing a Dark Urge. I did make him after a book character. I'll put a picture of my Dark Urge somewhere here, and whenever I get to him, I'll put a picture of the Dream Guardian as well. But yeah, made my character again, immediately started the game again, proceeded to eat Gale's arm. It's all good. I'm enjoying the Dark Urge playthrough so far. So I'll do either some reading or some Dark Urge this evening, but we'll see. For now, I'm gonna go play some Fortnite with my partner since I haven't seen him in a little while. This is kind of how we hang out when we're not able to be in the same place. And haven't had him a lot of time for it lately because he's been busy and I've been busy and things have just been kind of crazy, but it's gonna be good to play for a little bit. And I got a little buddy hanging out with me. He is bumping my leg. There he is, hanging out. Elwood has been very upset while we've been cleaning today, because while I was vacuuming upstairs, my mom was vacuuming downstairs and mopping. So he's just been like, where do I go? Where do I hide? All day. He's happier now that that is done. I'm also very warm now, so I'm gonna go sit down, play some video games, and chill for a little while, and then I'll check back in once I've picked what I'm gonna read first. I think I have something in mind, but I'm gonna wait and see kind of what I'm in the mood for. Hello, it's Tuesday, and we have forward progress because I've started 2 books for both Galactic-thon and May the Force Read With You, by which I mean I'm starting 2 books and they both count for prompts for both readathons. So first up, I started The Blighted Stars, which is my book for the Initiating Systems prompt, which is the actual like first main path prompt for Galactic-thon. I felt like I needed to actually get started on that given that we're halfway through the month now. So I'm reading this for Initiating Systems, which I think the prompt was something like features the beginning of a journey. These 2 people end up on a planet and they're having to journey across it to survive, so I felt like that worked. But this is really interesting so far. I'm 20 pages in and we're following Tarquin, who is the heir to a business empire, galactic business empire, and then Naira, who used to be one of his family's bodyguards, but she is now turned against them and she works with the Conservators, which are a group that are trying to prove that the Mercator family, the extractive mining that the family does, is like harming ecosystems and killing the planets that they are mining on. And so Tarquin is supposed to be going on this expedition to prove that wrong, to prove that the extractive mining that they're doing is not causing complete ecosystem collapse. But then before Naira can even get involved in the situation, things go horribly wrong and their ship is being attacked by the other ship on the expedition. The ship is crashing. Tarquin and a bunch of other people are trying to get off of the ship, and also there are zombies. Because this is set in a world where if you die, your body can be reprinted elsewhere, your neural map is backed up, and you can just be reprinted in a different place. And so Tarquin and his father are, you know, on this ship. Achilles, I think, gets reprinted elsewhere in like the first few pages, and then Tarquin is still on the ship, but he's like determined to kind of see things through. So that's like the setup for him. But there's zombies on the ship because the system can go wrong and it can print a body without actually putting anybody's consciousness into it, and this creates misprints, which are then like these zombie-like creatures that attack people. So there's just a lot happening. There's like crashing spaceships and zombies. There's you know, the Conservators, who are, I think by the Mercator family they're considered like eco-terrorists, but by like themselves they're, you know, protectors of the ecosystems. And so there's like that dynamic going on, and I'm just really excited to see where this is gonna go because I'm really liking it so far. I really like both Tarquin and Nyra already. They're very, very different people, but I like the different personalities that they have, and I'm just excited to see where all this is gonna go because I'm only 20 pages in, so I really have no sense of like where the story is headed, but I am having a good time. Oh, and then the prompt I'm using this for May the Force be with you, before I forget, is Doppelganger, because that's to have at least 2 of the same thing on the cover, and this has like 3 moons on the cover, so I felt like that worked. The other book I started was The King's Men, which is the 3rd, I was about to say last, but it's no longer the last book in the All for the Game series. It was a trilogy. This was the last book, and then Nora Sakovic decided to punish me for my hubris by writing a 4th one. So I'll be reading that at some point too. But this is the 3rd book, and I'm reusing this book for Force of Valor for May the Force Read With You, which is to read a guilty pleasure book, because these books are not good. They're really entertaining, they're not good. This is a book where the author wanted to write a thing and then didn't want to have to do any research whatsoever. So nothing in this book makes any kind of sense, and it's just absolutely bizarre. And it's trying to be like 3 different genres, because it wants to be a sports book, but it also wants to be a mafia book, but it also wants to be a romance. It's doing all of them and doing none of them well. It's not conforming to any conventions of any genre. It just does what it wants. As a result of that, this is a book that I consider cursed. It has only 5-star and 1-star reviews, and I'm reading it for my friends at Cursed Book Club that we have. So I'm reading it for their entertainment, and it also works really well for a guilty pleasure book because I have a great time reading these. Part of that comes from the like reading it with my friends, but it also, they're just like really bad in like a funny way. And then I'm also using it for a bonus prompt for Galactic-thon, which was, I can't remember the name of it, but basically the prompt is to read a book that somebody else has chosen for you. And I gave my friends a list of the like upcoming cursed books that we had on our list, and they chose The King's Men as the next one that they wanted me to read. So I can use it for both readathons as well, and I'm 20 pages into this one as well, and it's already just like so silly. It kicks off 2 days after the end of book 2, and we're getting like the fallout of the events of the end of book 2. But also there's a character who has like previously been on drugs, court-ordered drugs that don't work the way that any medication works at all ever. And he's now just like been detoxed off of them, so we're seeing him like sober for the first time, and he is so funny sober. I'm having a great time reading it because he simply does not respect anybody at all. There's a good moment like in the first few pages where the main character is like, hey, you have my keys, can I have those back? And this character who is sober for the first time in the series takes his own car key off the other character's keys and then chucks that other character's keys off the roof of the 4-story building that they're currently standing on top of, and is like, well, now I don't have them. Also, he says something like, your crumbling psyche is your problem, not mine, which is very funny to me. So like, again, not well written, very, very funny and entertaining. I'm having a great time so far. So yeah, read about 20 pages of that yesterday. So I'm gonna be reading those things kind of, you know, at the same time alongside of each other. And I'm really excited for both of these for like very, very different reasons, but I think it's gonna be a good time. Also, apologies for the lighting. Having my window open causes all kinds of weirdness with the lighting, but otherwise my office is super dark, so we're just gonna have to live with that. Yeah, so there's forward progress. I've started 2 books, and I'm gonna do a couple of job applications today, and then I'm planning to read pretty much for the rest of the day. So that's what we got on the agenda for today, and I'm gonna go get started on those job applications so I can get a couple of them in. I already know which 2 I want to apply to today. I'm trying to do like 2 a day just because that gives me enough time to really like tailor the cover letters and everything to the positions, but also like it lets me get in about 10, like somewhere between 5 and 10 applications a week, which is kind of what I'm aiming for. So I'm gonna go do those couple of applications, and then I'm gonna go read probably more of the Blighted Stars first. Actually, I'm gonna do some coding first. I have a class that I'm doing online that's HTML and CSS, because it's been a while since I've used either of those, and I wanted to like brush up and build on my skills a little bit since I'm now applying to lots of jobs that are doing like some web development stuff. So gonna be doing that as well, so I'll probably do that for a little while before I start reading again. But I am gonna probably read more of the Blighted Stars because I'll save what is this, The King's Men for this evening when my friends are done with work and are available, and we can all like hang out in Discord, and I'll read it and make them suffer with me. It'll be fun. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's Tuesday. I feel like I've got a good amount of time this week to hopefully get through at least one of these. And that is what we're aiming for. It's Thursday and I'm halfway through The King's Men. This ended up being my focus for the week because my friends have been enjoying hearing me talk about it and describe it. And I also have just gotten really sucked in and want to know what's going to happen because the whole series is just so silly. These books, this All for the Game series, are not good. They're actually quite bad, and I've never read any series that more clearly was written by somebody who didn't want to do any research, because it's like the justice system doesn't work like that. Psychiatric medication doesn't work like that. Sports regulations I don't think work like that, probably shouldn't. Universities don't work like that. And the responsible adults here are not responsible at all. They're just kind of letting these chaos gremlin players run rampant and then getting mad at them when stuff happens, and also not contacting the proper authorities. They're just kind of like letting horrific things happen to these kids and not doing anything about it. So I think that that's pretty like frustrating for me. I just know too much about how universities and justice system and like psychiatric medications and things like that work. So I find it really frustrating how little of this book has been researched and explained in a realistic or even believable way. There's not even like an internal logic that makes sense in this world. But I am liking this book, I think, the best of the three so far because of its character moments. We, in this book, get to see Andrew off of his medication that makes him into the Joker, and Andrew without the medicine is like so blunt and sincere and straightforward with people that I'm finding him very entertaining to read about. He's really mean, but like he's entertaining. So I'm liking the version of Andrew that we get in this book, and I'm really liking the development of Neil's relationships with the different characters. There have been some really like genuinely sweet and interesting character moments of Neil like building relationships with, you know, his roommate, or with the knife gremlin part of the team, with like Andrew and Nikki and Kevin and Aaron. So like there's some really interesting character development happening here, and it's just overshadowed by the absolute nonsense of the rest of the book. But there have been just some really nice little moments. There's a really good one when Neil is going with Nikki to pick up ice cream, and it's just like about the ways that the sport and like his obsession with Exie can't fulfill his need for like social connection and like, you know, the ability to relate to other people. Like he needs friends as much or more than he needs Exie, which is a new like experience for him because he's so used to being like a loner and being on the run. So I find that that is really interesting. It's just that the really nice character moments are being massively overshadowed by the rest of the nonsense in the book. But this is definitely, I think, in terms of character stuff, my favorite so far. I think that Andrew is more interesting in this book. I think that the relationships that are being built are interesting. There's also been some really interesting, I'm gonna say interesting 50 more times because I feel like that's all I can really say for this book that's positive. There's been some interesting moments that are talking about like consent and autonomy that I really liked. I think that Andrew is approaching that in a really like realistic way, but also in a way that gives him a lot more depth than he's had in previous books. So like I'm having a good time. It's not good. None of the books in this series are good, but it's entertaining, and there's some like little pieces here and there that I actually really like the way that they're written. So it's been like a very weird reading experience for me, but I am halfway through, so I'm hoping to finish that this evening because I'm also planning to go visit my partner this weekend. This is a new plan that was just made in the last like day or so, so I need to finish up that book because I want to finish it for this vlog, and then I need to have time to edit this vlog tomorrow so that it can go up on Saturday as scheduled. I'm finding that Saturday uploads are a little bit easier for me right now, I think because they're vlogs, but I've been really struggling with motivation for the last 2 weeks, and I'm finding that not only is it like affecting my job searching, which is still happening, I'm still applying for things. I just like this week in particular have been finding it really hard to stay focused on writing cover letters and applying to things because it just feels like useless busy work, but I am really working on trying to build some structure for myself and continuing to apply. But that like lack of motivation that that's causing is bleeding over into other things, and I've not been posting as regularly as I previously have been, which I'm not happy about, but I'm trying to figure out like how to re-motivate myself to work on the things that I want to work on as well as the things that I have to work on. So it's been a weird week. It's weird in a different way than last week was. I think I'm starting to settle into this routine, but at the same time, like there's not enough of a routine in my routine for me to have that motivation that I usually have to like keep moving forward on things. So I'm working on that, and hopefully things will continue to improve. Hopefully I won't be job searching for too long, because it's definitely like getting to me in terms of just how I approach my day-to-day and like how I spend my time. But we're gonna just keep moving forward, keep trying my best, and I'm gonna go finish up a couple cover letters, apply to some stuff, and then I will return this evening, hopefully, with my final thoughts on The King's Men. I'm hoping to finish it today. I've got about 200 pages left, so fingers crossed I can get through that as well. I feel like being employed in job hunting is a really weird experience, because sometimes you're just at your desk working away on some cover letters, getting some applications in, and you get a devastating rejection for a job that you were really excited about, and it just kicks off a whole despair spiral, and you're just convinced you're never gonna have a job, you're like terrible at this, you're doing something wrong, you don't know what you're doing wrong, everything is bad, and then you realize you haven't eaten anything since toast early this morning, and it's now almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and now suddenly it's 2:30, and I've scarfed down some ramen and some eggs, and I'm making cake on a Thursday. Just a Thursday afternoon. It's yellow cake and chocolate frosting. I'm working on the frosting at the moment. Cake's in the oven. It's a very weird experience. Doesn't totally help or solve the rejection problem. That sucked. It was a job I was really excited about. But I will soon have cake, and also I feel a little bit less despairing now that I've had food, which protein does solve many problems. Perhaps no one's surprised I did not finish The King's Men yesterday. I baked a cake and I played Baldur's Gate for like 6 hours. I did do a little more reading later in the evening, but then I got past the 50% mark. I'm at like 57% or so, and I got to a twist that is simply too stupid. I don't like the direction that the book is going now, and I'm really frustrated with it, so I'm actually gonna soft DNF it for now. Just until like next week. I just need a few days away from it. I need to read something good in the meantime. So I'm gonna be setting aside The King's Men for a little while, and I think I'm gonna refocus on The Blighted Stars. So normally I would be finishing this vlog today, but because I haven't finished anything, and honestly it's been a pretty boring week, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this into next week as well, and we're just gonna keep on moving forward with it. I think that'll be more fun. It'll end up with a more interesting vlog, hopefully, for you guys. So we're gonna keep on in this vlog for next week. I have another video planned for Saturday, so you'll have seen something else the Saturday this would normally go up, and you'll be seeing this on a different week. So that is the new plan going forward. So what's new? What's happened? Today I did some errands. I took some library books back. I needed to return a few things that couldn't be renewed, and they're due on Saturday. I'm not gonna be here. I'm visiting Jacob this weekend, so I was not gonna be here to turn them in. Went ahead and did that. Did some very exciting, like went to get gas, went to CVS to pick up like toothpaste. Did all those very exciting things, and I think that's pretty much all I've done today. I did edit the video for the Saturday, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only things that are new, I think, since I didn't finish The King's Men. Very exciting life I'm leading right now. I did get a rejection again this morning from a job that I just applied to yesterday, so that was exciting. It's rejection city over here right now. But I think it's gonna be good to get away for the weekend and go see Jacob for a little while, get some like social interaction, get away from my desk. I think that's gonna be good for me. So I'm looking forward to it. At the moment I'm finishing up like packing and getting ready to go, because I don't have to leave for a few hours yet, but I want to be like ready to go when that time comes, because I've got to meet him at a specific time because we're going for dinner and drinks with some of his friends when I get over there. So I may vlog over the weekend, I may not. Regardless, the next time you see me, hopefully I will have actually made some progress in something or finished something, and hopefully something that is better than The King's Men, because honestly that twist just, I hated it. I really did. But I am still really intrigued about this, so I think this is probably going to be what goes with me, and I'm very excited to see what happens next, because there's already been a little bit of a twist here at the start. It's not really, I think, a twist fully, because you kind of know based on the summary that this is going to happen, but I've just gotten to like the, oh no, we have to survive on a dead planet bit, and I'm so excited to see how this is gonna go for them. Hello, it's Monday, and I just got back from visiting my partner. I got home maybe 30 minutes ago, and I didn't read anything this weekend. I played a ton of Potion Craft though. It's a fun little game where you're playing as an alchemist, and it's kind of a puzzly thing where you're figuring out different ways to make potions, and then you're selling potions, and you also have like an alchemy machine where you're trying to make like the Philosopher's Stone. It's pretty fun, had a good time playing that. We also played some Lethal Company with some friends of his and some Fortnite as well, and pretty much just did nothing all weekend, which was really nice. It was nice to have a weekend to just kind of relax and chill for a while. And then I came home to book mail because my pre-order of A Crane Among Wolves arrived while I was gone. I got here on Saturday, and I'm so excited about this. This is June Her's 4th book. I've read her first 2, and The Red Palace is currently on my shelves to read as well. And her books, I think, are just beautiful. She does setting and atmosphere so well. Her characters are really interesting. They're always these like young women who are really headstrong and flawed in interesting ways, and I just really enjoy reading about them. Her first book, The Silence of Bones in particular, I think is my favorite so far. It made me cry really hard when I read it. I liked her second book, The Forest of Sleeping Girls, The Forest of Stolen Girls. I really like that one as well, but the first one's still my favorite. The Red Palace sounds really good though, and this one also sounds really good. This one is about a young woman who is, I believe, like teaming up with a prince to try and take down a tyrant king, and it's based on a real period of Korean history. So very excited about this. It sounds very fun. I think it's one of the first ones that isn't like specifically like a murder mystery, because her previous 3 have all been like murder mysteries. So I think this is the first one that does not. So I'm really intrigued to see what she's going to do with this, and I'm very excited that it arrived while I was away. So hello, it's Thursday, I think. That seems correct to me. It's Thursday, and I finally finished The Kingsman last night. I realized I was having trouble reading because I kept like internally going, I can't read anything else until I get through the obstacle of The Kingsman, because if I don't read it now, I will never come back to it. So I did finally push through and finish it. I took a few days off from reading, gave myself some time, finished it. Good news was that the bit that I was really hating only lasted for about 10% of the book. It was over fairly quickly. And then things just, you know, continue to be very silly. We go back to lots more sports happening, and I gotta say the ending was really anticlimactic. Like, there's this thing that they're building up to across like all 3 books, and then that thing happens across just a few pages. Like, I was at 93% when that thing finally happens, and it's a game. Like, they're planning for this, like, we're gonna have a rematch against this team that kicked our ass the last time, and just like happens, and then it's over. That's the end of the book, and it was weird. Like, there's a lot of stuff that just never gets answered, a lot of stuff that never gets resolved, and we're just kind of left in this moment after they've played this game. And like the events that come after that, the like very brief events that come after that and across like 2 pages. Yeah, very weird pacing across the whole series. I think book 3 is better than book 2. I really didn't like book 2. I think I gave book 3 2 stars last night when I finished it. Book 1 was a 2-star. Book 2 is a 1-star. Book 3 is also a 2-star because it's just bizarre. But book 3 did have a few character moments I really liked. It's just that it was kind of overshadowed by all of the other nonsense going on and the weird anticlimactic ending, because all of the like really intense stuff happens just after the like 50% mark, at like 57%, and at like 71% it's already resolved. So that gets dealt with really quickly. We get back to the sports bits, and that's pretty much it. Some sports happens. We see a few of the characters are making progress in like building relationships with each other and kind of dealing with some of their traumas. And then they play a big sports game, and then it's over. That's it. So it was very weird pacing, very weird series. Very weird final book in a series. Well, technically it was the final book in the series until like last month, and now there's a 4th book. So I will be reading the 4th book at some point because I am curious to find out what happens to this one character who we find out something has happened to him. He kind of gets taken in by the foxes, and we find out that he is going to be transferring to a different school. But that's pretty much all we know about him and his situation at the end of book 3. So I am curious to see what happens to him. I think he's an interesting character. I would like to know, you know, how his story wraps up. So I think the 4th book follows his like senior year, I think, at a new school. So he's like getting used to a new team. He's, you know, adjusting to life outside of the situation that he's been in for a very long time. So I'm interested to read that and see what that's like, especially because there's like 10 years almost between book 3 and this book 4. So I'm also curious to see if Nora Sakavik's writing has gotten any better, because I suspect it probably hasn't, but I'll be curious to see. So that's done, and I need to do some more reading today. I also need to wrap this vlog today so I can edit it this evening. I'm gonna be visiting my friend over the break. She's got a long weekend. She's off tomorrow through Monday because of Memorial Day and because they had like a conference thing that they were doing. So she worked an extra day of the weekend last week, so they're giving her a day off at the end of this week to make up for it. So she's gonna be free for like a full weekend, and we're gonna go do some different things that neither of us have done. There's a couple of board game shops in the city that she lives in that we're gonna go visit. We're gonna go to an art museum. We're gonna go just like do fun, chill adventure stuff. And yeah, it'll be good. But this does mean I need to finish up this vlog tonight so that you guys have something to watch on Saturday, because I'm not going to be able to do video editing and uploading as easily while I'm over there. I probably won't even think about it. So I'm gonna wrap this one today. I think I might try to read one more thing, because I did want to read The Brides of High Hill by Nevo, which is a novella. It's the 5th, I want to say, in the Singing Hill cycle. And this one's kind of like a gothic horror-y one, so I'm very excited about it. And I didn't get to read it when it first came out, but it's been like a couple of weeks ago. I want to go ahead and read it, and it does count for prompts for both May the Force Be With You and Galactic-Thon. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was for May the Force Be With You, but there's one where it's like if the author's name and the title are different colors, and it's that one, because this cover does in fact have different colors for those. And then for Galactic-Thon, it fits one of the bonus prompts, which is to read a newly released adult fantasy. So yeah, gonna use it for a bonus prompt over there. So I still haven't made any progress on the main path, but it's fine. It's fine. Maybe now that I'm past the Kingsman, I'll actually feel like reading more. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably read that this afternoon. Once I get done with a couple of other things, I'm gonna apply to 2 jobs today because I found a couple that I'm interested in. And then I'm gonna probably read for a while because I just gotta do laundry and kind of do some prep stuff to pack and get ready to go. So that is the plan for the afternoon. I'll check back in with you guys later when I've read, hopefully, The Brides of High Hill. Hopefully you don't just see me later like, yeah, I didn't read anything else, but we'll find out, because it's entirely possible that may happen as well. This isn't a real update, but I'm like 3 pages into The Brides of High Hill. I took a little break from working on this cover letter to read a few pages. 3 pages in, I'm tearing up. I love Chi so much. They're such a good character. I immediately love the opening of this. There's a really great line on page 1 that's one of the other clerics in a dream telling Chi that everything starts with stories. And there's a quote that says, the world starts with a story. So do dynasties and eras and wars. So does love, and so does revenge. Everything starts with a story. And I really like that. I really love this series. It's so good. And I'm so excited to see what adventure Chi is going to have next. They are currently, in this book, going with someone who is going towards their wedding negotiations. They've like stopped to help this young woman who dropped her books all over the road, and she stopped to help. And the young woman like asked if Chi would be willing to go with them to this set of like marriage negotiations and just kind of like keep the evil spirits away, provide some comfort and some friendship, and it's just like really sweet. I love Chi so much, and I'm just so excited to be reading another one of these books. I get so excited about these every year, and yeah, so 3 pages in, I'm already tearing up, and I'm so excited to find out what this adventure is going to be, because I think this one's supposed to be kind of gothic and a little bit horror-y, so that's just really exciting to me. I did it. I finished The Brides of High Hill today. I've actually had a really good day overall. It's been really productive. I regretfully have to say that getting enough sleep and dressing and like for the day, sorry if the lighting going weird, I was trying to turn that on because it's a little bit dark in here. Yeah, dressing like you're getting ready for the day instead of just putting on like leisure wear. actually does help with motivation and mood. So I hate to have to say that, but it's true because I finally got 2 nights of good sleep. I got up today and got dressed like I was gonna go somewhere. I was not planning to go anywhere today. I forgot I had a haircut, did go do that, and immediately felt better and got a ton done. Got 2 applications in today, did some laundry, I cooked dinner, which I haven't done in a long time, made a crispy gnocchi and roasted vegetables. It was really good, and yeah, it was a really good day. And I've just capped it off by finishing The Brides of High Hill, which is the 5th book, I think, in the Singing Hills cycle. I love this series. This was no different. I think this isn't my favorite of the series so far. I think the previous book, Mammoths at the Gates, is still my favorite, but I still really enjoyed this. This one is a little more gothic. This one is following Chi as they're going with a young woman who is headed to this estate to go to her like marriage negotiations, and basically if things go well at the end of the 3 days that they're there, she'll be married to the lord of this estate. And her family is like really eager to marry her off because they've had some other like financial misfortunes and they want to like secure a future for her. So Chi goes with them to this estate, and pretty quickly it becomes apparent that the vibes here are bad. Something is very, very wrong, and Chi is kind of like lost in the midst of it all and is trying to figure out what is going on and why everything on this estate is so creepy and why everyone is behaving so strangely. So there's just like a lot of stuff going on here, and I really liked this. It was very creepy and atmospheric, and there were so many bits where I kept having to like turn off my Kindle and just sit there like, ooh, ugh, because really creepy things kept happening. And the ending was really intense. There's a bit of a twist that I really enjoyed, and just the whole thing was so fun. I had a great time. There are a few things that I feel like are left unresolved in a kind of unsatisfactory way, just like a couple of small things. There's a curse that gets mentioned and we never really get much about that, even though it's fairly central to some of what is happening. And so I would have liked to know a little bit more about that. I would have liked to know a little more about some of the other characters and got a little more clarification on what was going on at the end. So I'm giving this one 4 stars instead of 5, but like, I still had a great time reading this. It takes a pretty dark horror turn partway through, so I was like pleasantly surprised by that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting to bring in kind of a different genre than the other books have been, and I just had a really good time reading this one. So success. I have finally finished 2 books in a single week, which is really nice. I looked up the prompts that I was using this for. So it works for the A Message to the Future, or A Message from the Future bonus prompt for Galactic-thon, and it also counts for the lightsaber prompt for May the Force Be With You. So it was a success all around. I had a really good day. I enjoyed reading this. I've had a very productive afternoon. And now I'm gonna go finish packing and getting ready to go visit my friend for the long Memorial Day weekend. So I'm gonna leave this vlog here. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.